What's going on, y'all? Your boy Darius Gray here, back again for another video. This time we are here for another death battle, and this one is Martian Manhunter versus Silver Surfer. Now that right there is a matchup that when you hear it at first, you're like, that's interesting. Yeah. But then if you're in the know like me, if you're deep in the comics, at least on a certain level, you realize then that this is not going to go well for Martian Manhunter, because the Silver Surfer is an absolute OP character with an OP power, that being the power cosmic. The power cosmic as a concept in Marvel, it's broken. It's a tool for the writers to go, okay, we need a reason for why this character can do this. Power cosmic. There it is. Literally, the power cosmic can do whatever you want it to do. So I just have a hard time believing that Martian Manhunter is going to be able to beat Silver Surfer. And yeah, I know he can go toe-to-toe with Superman, but even Superman would lose to Silver Surfer. I'm sorry, he would. But let's see what Death Battle has to say, all right? Let's see if they get this wrong or if they get it right. Who knows, man? But before we get into it, though, make sure click that thumbs up button, like the video, man. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell. And, man, let's get on with this thing. Martian Manhunter versus Silver Surfer.
Martian Manhunter, DC's Space Ranger.
The Silver Surfer, Marvel's sentinel of the spaceways.
The depths of space hold secrets beyond our comprehension, but these sage superheroes have seen more of it than any of us could ever
Let's see if they can
to.
convince me.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And
doubt
it's
they
our
would.
job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
All right.
For as long as mankind has looked upon the night sky, the stars have beckoned the brave to search the unknown and explore its endless wonders.
Like Dr. Saul Erdell, who's kind of a doctor in the same way Dr. Pepper is a doctor. This guy's got no formal education, but that didn't stop him from messing around with some ancient tech he stumbled upon.
I'm
He
not
was desperate to live out his boyhood
well-versed
dreams
in,
of exploring the
Manhunter's
cosmos. So with the
backstory,
tech's
so this is
advanced
interesting.
capabilities, Erdell created a machine that would bring the cosmos to him.
He pointed the machine at Mars, pushed a button, and hoped for the best. And it worked. Erdell summoned a real-life Martian right before his very eyes.
Huh.
So remember, kids, when in doubt, just push buttons. Never fails.
The mysterious and powerful alien known as John Jones, the Martian Manhunter, immediately started using his incredible powers in front of the Doctor, like mind reading and shape-shifting.
Which was just the tip of Erdell's discoveries. Turns out, Martians have complete control over their bodies and can transform into practically anything, like a freaking dragon, an exact duplicate of Wonder Woman down to her central nervous system, or even a totally generic green monster that loves choco cookies.
Hulk.
They can also shoot lasers from their eyes, fire psionic blasts, turn invisible, and phase through anything. Even Green Lantern constructs and force fields that Superman couldn't get through.
On top of all that, they've got a crazy healing factor. John has regenerated back from a single limb, tiny pieces, or even a puddle of goo.
This display of
I know all
awe-inspiring
that.
power overwhelmed Dr. Erdell's poor human heart and caused him to die in the Martian's arms.
Damn! Well, at least he accomplished his goal before he bit the red dust, right? Anyway, John used his shape-shifting abilities to hide amongst his new world by assuming the identity of a recently deceased detective named John Jones. God, what a crazy coincidence,
right,
comic
yeah.
book writer, you clever man.
Detective
Yep.
John Jones lived a double life on Earth for many years, solving cases and helping as many people as he could from the shadows.
Yo,
but
fingers.
eventually, he stepped out, revealing himself to the world, and helped found the Justice League of America.
And John definitely holds his own in the supergroup. He once pulled the Earth alongside Wonder Woman and Superman.
Yeah, he's
who
pretty strong.
has stated that of all the beings in the known universe, he would be afraid to fight John.
And he should be afraid. Superman wouldn't be the first Kryptonian John has gone toe-to-toe with. He's manhandled Ultraman, who's basically evil Superman from another universe, and Superboy Prime, who can shatter reality with his punches.
Really?
And is also evil Superman from another universe.
There's a lot of
He took
those.
a blast from Asmodel, the king angel from a literal army of heaven. He's held his own against Darkseid, the manifestation of tyranny in the DC universe. And he's fast enough to catch up to Supergirl and Superman, who we know flies so fast he can burst the bonds of infinity.
That's
so
a
basically,
specific
he's
version.
just as strong and just as fast as a bunch of crazy gods and demons.
While Jean's strength and speed are obviously very impressive, it's also no secret that his greatest asset is his mind. He's one of the most powerful telepaths in all of the DC universe.
He reads minds, duh, but he can also shut them down altogether. And he once made Mr. Plexiglass, Mr. Mixed Pickles.
I don't know how to say it
your
either.
Name, that's whatever. Anyway,
I
he
really
got
don't,
him
to this
to
day.
subconsciously
I just
say
call him
his
Mr.
own
Mixie.
name backwards, which God only knows because I can't say it forwards, which canceled out his powers.
His psychic defenses were strong enough to protect the Justice League against a worldwide telepathic attack, and his ability to sense people's feelings is so strong, he can feel every sentient being in the entire galaxy.
What?
And he once outthought Perpetua from the Omniverse. Who's that, you ask? Oh, just a freaking creator of the entire multiverse. She's basically the god of everything.
Jean needed to connect his consciousness with everyone on Earth before Perpetua could catch up.
Comics
he pulled
are
this off by
ridiculous,
using his
man.
mental abilities within the span of Planck time, literally the smallest possible measurement of time. In the time it takes you to count to one, Jean could count to one and fly across the universe and back over 200 sextillion times.
What are we doing, man?
Thought God. He's a faster thinker than God. And it didn't end there. John took a punch from her and walked away with just a bloody nose. And when she disintegrated him into basically nothing, he regenerated back from a hit from God.
Batman has said that in order to kill Jean for good, you would have to literally destroy every single atom in his body one by one.
God damn. If I
Oh,
didn't
believe
love
me,
alliteration
Power Cosmic
so
can do
much,
that.
I'd say we change this guy's name to Martian God Hunter or something. He's basically invincible, right?
Not quite.
Right.
Jean is not without weakness. He has
Fire.
a very real vulnerability to fire. At times, it has completely overwhelmed him to the point where he loses control of his body.
Yep.
And not just literal fire either. John was once tricked into just thinking he was surrounded by fire,
Yeah.
and that was enough for him.
Even
It's so
still,
stupid.
Jean has been able to overcome this weakness. He's fought enemies with fire abilities and even taken hits from fire attacks, which leads me to believe the weakness, while potent and still able to cause real physical
It's
harm,
just mental.
is mainly psychosomatic. What are you doing?
I heard what you said. Weakness to fire is just in your head. I'll be a living god! Another win in the mind column for sure. And to think there's a whole planet of these guys out there.
Unfortunately, that's no longer the case.
Yeah.
Before Dr. Erdell's strange experiments,
It's just him and,
Jean's own brother
McGann,
used the
right?
Martians' telepathic connection to each other against them, and the entire planet
And
was
him.
plagued with Ronmir's curse.
As long as they stayed telepathically connected, every Martian was vulnerable to a mental fire that would overwhelm them and burn them from the inside out.
Which sadly worked very well, because the fear of fire is something Jean shares with his fellow Martians. Centuries earlier, the Guardians of the Universe, a group of immortal aliens who run the Green Lantern Corps, feared that the Martian race could become too strong. So they programmed the Martians with that genetic weakness to fire.
John was
Damn.
able to survive the fiery curse by cutting
That's
off his
dirty.
mental connection to his people, including his family. Unfortunately, his wife, Myria, and their daughter couldn't live with the isolation,
Yep.
and he had no choice but to watch them give in and burn alive. Damn.
Racked with grief and survivor's guilt, Jean was left to wander his homeworld all alone. His only solace being shape-shifting into his lost loved ones to convince himself they were still alive.
That's messed up,
Oh my
dude.
god. Jesus,
That's dark.
John. That is so sad.
That
Yeah.
pain has undoubtedly shaped who
Man,
Jean is.
get him a
In
movie.
Fact, the trauma he held onto so tightly formed a literal spiritual connection with those lost souls. A telepathic connection so strong, it kept them from finding peace in an afterlife. Let me say that again. His grief and telepathy were so strong, he prevented an entire race of people from moving on to the afterlife.
It wasn't until years later that John could return to Mars and release those souls by finally letting go. And not to forget them, but to embrace his new life and his new home.
James
a
Gunn.
place he would defend time and time again to make sure
Get
the
this man a
Earth
movie.
never suffers a fate similar to Mars.
TV show,
To
something.
experience all of that, to truly know what it feels like to be alone in the vast universe,
Oh, New Frontier, I
but
love this
continue to
movie.
use your wisdom and power to help those in need, is what makes the Martian Manhunter such a noble hero.
On a planet packed with other incredible heroes, Jean really has set himself apart. He's risen through the ashes and emerged, the heart and soul of the Justice League.
Now we get to the
This
powerhouse.
episode of Death Battle is sponsored
Oh.
by One Piece on Netflix.
Made by fans for fans, this live-action adaptation of the beloved manga is designed to introduce new audiences to the zany pirate epic. And where else would it start but the East Blue, a world populated by pirates with supernatural powers, gifted by mysterious devil fruits.
I know
where
very little about
telephones
One
are
Piece.
snails.
And a treasure hidden by the late Goldie Roger kicks off an era of epic adventure.
This
I know some names and
action-packed
powers,
series
that's
follows
about
the
it.
Straw Hat Pirates, a crew of true Nakama determined to find the legendary One Piece and live free on the
Which they still
high
haven't
seas.
found in
All
the
the while being
manga,
chased
right?
by the honorable Marines, protecting the waterways from those dastardly
Been how many
pirates.
years?
In an ocean of grim and gritty adaptations, One Piece is an adventurous, warm-hearted, binge-worthy island.
Series mangaka Eiichiro Oda was involved at every step of the process, which
Really?
has never been done before in any other live-action manga adaptation.
Pirates
And-
life for me! Marines stink!
Watch
You can
One
get
Piece
a Dragon
August
Ball Z
31st, only on
adaptation
Netflix.
adaptation with Toriyama. Come on now, do it.
Zen-La, a virtual utopia, free from any and all
Or
crime,
Naruto with
poverty,
Kishimoto,
and
whatever his name
disease.
was, right?
And home to Norin Rad, which I've gotta say is the sickest, most radical name I have ever heard in my entire life. He was a brainy kid who was raised to live a life of reason and intellect over one of gnarly adventure.
That is, until the technologically advanced society came under threat from the devourer
Galactus.
of worlds, Galactus.
So Norin struck up a deal with the World Muncher. In exchange for sparing his planet, Mr. Red offered to leave his home behind, become Galactus's herald, and seek out new planets for him to scarf down.
And once Galactus agreed to the deal, he imbued his new herald with the power cosmic, transforming him into the Silver Surfer.
An equally tubular name.
Right.
2 for 2. Wow, you rarely see it.
The power
And he's
cosmic
naked.
grants the Surfer near unlimited energy, as well as matter manipulation, phasing, super strength, speed, and invulnerability.
Seen The Wizard of
just
Oz
to
1,000
name a few.
times.
The Surfers basically got all of Galactus' space magic, just on a smaller scale. And Galactus uses that power to fight guys like the In-Betweener, an abstract being from the overspace.
The Surfer used the power cosmic to serve Galactus diligently for nearly 100 years, during which he ensured that the planets consumed were devoid of sentient life.
That is, until the Surfer accidentally offered up a planet with life, which drove him crazy with guilt.
How did he accidentally
so
do that?
Galactus tried his best to suppress the Surfer's emotions, erase the painful memories, and make it easier for him to find planets with tasty, delicious life, guilt-free. How nice of him.
And it worked for a while until the Surfer reached Earth. Galactus's mighty mind manipulation wasn't enough to bury the Surfer's true nature for good. With the help of Alicia Masters and the Fantastic Four, the Surfer turned against his overlord and saved the Earth from being eaten.
But even after all of that, Galactus just let the Surfer keep his powers. At any point, he could have just taken them back.
I know,
Being
right?
the source of the Surfer's powers, yes, he could. But Galactus has continued to let the Surfer have the power cosmic out of respect for his first herald.
Really?
Damn. See, that's the kind of respect I'm asking from you. Anyway, ever since those mental gymnastics with Galactus, the Surfer made sure nothing like that would ever happen again.
And he's been successful, like when Psycho Man failed to trick the Surfer with his illusions, or when he was briefly trapped in the Supreme Intelligence's
Power can match
mind
the
when
6
it was
Infinity
using the
Stones.
Mind
Exactly.
Stone.
With some of those mental threats behind him, he could finally take to the spaceways, kick ass, and monologue about the meaning of life in the universe.
All of which he's quite good at, especially that last one. It's thanks to the abilities afforded to him through all that cosmic energy.
It's seriously crazy. He can rearrange the molecules of anything he wants into anything he wants. He
Exactly.
can force you to just feel pain in general, and he can even control elements, not just earth, wind, and fire, but anything in a boogie wonderland like gravity.
That's it. He did.
He's got enough power and
I was
energy
just about to start
inside
singing.
him that he once created an infant star to serve as a new light source in a universe devoid of light.
So just when he needed it, he was able to pop out a baby son? That's convenient.
That's the power cosmic.
Like I said,
But we can't forget about the
Anything.
sick board he shreds the stars with. This thing's basically an extension of himself. He can transform it into a sweet sword or into pure cosmic energy. And if it breaks, he can just form a new one.
On his board, the Surfer has traveled at incalculable speeds on multiple occasions. He can fly faster than Thor, and even once flew so fast he reached the future.
Even
yeah,
without
he's
his board,
crazy
he once
fast.
broke free from energy shackles that would zap away his power within the next nanosecond. Gnarly, brah. He once outsurfed a wave of universal destruction. He had to surf out of all of existence as it was being torn apart. Now, I've seen some choice waves in my day, but if you ask me, that's one too best for watching on the beach with
All right, enough.
crew.
You're hitting it real hard with all this surfing
Right.
lingo. He's honestly not that kind of guy at all.
Righteously
He's not.
disagree with you, dude.
He's just
you are
very, like-
carving up my brain
Well, he is
into
in the,
an E-frame swell that I
Superhero
just
Squad
can't
show, they
fail.
made him, like,
I'm
just a
wax
surfer.
Man, wax.
The Silver Surfer is a tragic figure who
Yes,
is
he's-
always weighing his choices through every angle of morality.
He's constantly
like when he
depressed.
set out to destroy the new host of the Star Brand, an energy source that grants his wielders virtually infinite power, capable of wiping out all life on Earth.
The Star Brand seems to choose a new unknowing host at random. Could be a good guy, could be the most evil person to ever exist. But despite that threat, the Surfer spared the new Star Brand once he found out she was carrying a child.
He decided to bear the weight of any potential consequences on his own shoulders instead of squashing any and all hope that the child would use that power for good.
I get it. He's a righteous dude on a surfboard.
Exactly. And in the Surfer's case, a keen sense of morality also comes with a
I love
keen
it.
sense of his
I love him in this
surroundings in
movie.
general. He can see
So
enemies
cool.
even when they're invisible and can sense incoming threats, to the point where he can sense someone approaching even before they've left their own home.
He can also absorb energy his opponents throw at him. Anything from psionic energy to a freaking star. The Surfer can even do it when he's on death's door. Hey, Wiz, what do you think the doormat on death's door says? Probably like, knock 'em dead, right?
What are you talking? Now, it does take a lot to get the Surfer to Death's door. He's
If
taken
it's
a
Jean
blast
Grey's
from the
pleasure.
Infinity Stones, survived being smashed into pieces, crashed into the Big Bang, and played catch with the star.
He caught it and then threw it right back at that punk Deadpool.
OP, I'm telling
I feel
you.
like a big ball of gas in your face, you tool.
Reed Richards, the smartest man alive, has said that the Surfer is probably the most powerful being in all the galaxy.
And even after years spent drifting through the galaxy, he's still built strong bonds, like with the Fantastic Four, the Defenders, and with people like Dawn Greenwood.
But somehow, he always ends up alone in space.
And depressed.
Searching for answers, searching for beings that need his help, searching for something that could replace the home that he lost all those years ago.
Only to be weighed down by the guilt of his servitude and the pain of his sacrifice, which was ultimately done in vain, cause it doesn't seem to matter what the Surfer does. Zenla is destined for destruction. At this point, his home world has been destroyed 4 times over.
Despite it all, this tragic hero still manages to take everything in stride as he surfs the stars and fights tirelessly to preserve every being's right to live.
It's funny, they didn't really touch on, like,
Son, giving you
weaknesses
trouble this season?
other than,
Take
like,
it
his
on with
emotional
beer built to
state.
last. Shady Ray's premium
Which should tell you
polarized shades are
something.
perfect
He's
for
too
all
OP. He's gonna
available
win this
and
match.
affordable.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
A very one-sided death battle, let's be honest. Come on now.
In all of my journeys, I have never seen anything quite like this.
I assumed your journeys would have made you rather familiar with places like this, Northern Rad. Or should I say, Silver Surfer? Now, tell me why you have summoned me here.
Enough!
Where the hell were they? Mind over matter.
What are you hiding? Tell me your secrets.
I must end this.
Okay. So far, it's just a chase.
There's no use in hiding.
I saw that
Feel your
panel
presence.
straight from the comics. It's just gonna reform, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah, right into the giant ball of fire. Look at that. He's gonna overcome it, though, right?
Nothing can best Martian might.
Your will is admirable, but will alone is not enough.
It is not.
Feel the pain.
Come on, Surfer, stop playing around with him.
You and I possess the same knowledge.
That only one of us can survive, and we know not why.
Come on now, Surfer.
I hope you can live with the uncertainty.
There you go.
Victory comes with no certain satisfaction.
Really, it should have been Surfer
I may
versus
never
Dr.
know why
Manhattan.
we were made to fight,
That should have been the fight.
if violence is ever truly justified. But perhaps there is something worthy in the battle.
Myria.
Something beyond my understanding.
Goodness. Yeah, that's about what I expected. He took a little bit too long to end it,
What
but
the
hey,
hell are we doing? Why are we forcing such beautiful souls to fight to the death?
I know, right?
Both the Silver Surfer and the Martian Manhunter were two extraordinarily powerful beings, each with very wide power sets.
So they both had counters for almost everything they could throw at each other. They could both phase through objects, rearrange molecules, and regenerate their own bodies.
Power
But
Cosmic
arguably
offers
the
many
biggest thing on the
advantages.
Martian
Yes, it
Manhunter's
does.
side was his formidable telepathy. The Surfer has had his memories erased and his emotions manipulated by Galactus. So it would stand to reason that Jean could pose a mental threat to the Surfer.
But the Surfer has resisted mental attacks many times. When Psycho Man played on the Surfer's guilt and pretended to be his lost love, the Surfer saw right through it, and he escaped the Supreme Intelligence's mind when it was using a frickin' Mind Stone.
These two could have gone toe-to-toe around the universe for a long time. But when it
Not
came
for
down
a
to
long
it,
time.
the question was, who had the power to put the other down for good?
They both have some serious healing factors and have come back from basically nothing. But if ending Martian Manhunter meant destroying his every atom one by one, the Surfer has the means to make that happen thanks to the seemingly endless well of energy that is the Power Cosmic.
It's truly an overwhelming source of unlimited
It's
power.
overpowered, man.
And outside of Galactus stripping the power away from him, the Surfer is never without it.
It's like a battery. Even if Jean could drain all of the cosmic energy, the Surfer can just recharge it. And he's used that power to destroy planets, defeat Galactus-level threats, and can basically accomplish anything with it.
While both of these philosophic heroes tend to hold back out of a respect for life, there's obviously no holding back here, and the depth of Silver Surfer's abilities gave him the win.
This Martian was harsh in his mellow, so
Like,
the
he's got
Surfer
cheats
had to
on, man.
wave
Like-
goodbye. Bodacious, cowabunga,
I know what I'm
hey,
talking
10
about.
Ninja Turtles.
The winner is the Silver Surfer.
All right, what's this next matchup? And will I know the characters?
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. We have a new Death Battle releasing every 2 weeks this year. And click the join button to get new perks and extra content. Planet level members even see Death Battles before anyone else, so don't miss out.
Bill Cipher! Oh no! No, not Bill. Who's the other one from? I have no idea. Discord. I don't know where he's from, but Bill Cipher. Damn, on 9/11. That's crazy. Oh. So yeah, that went about as well as I expected from Martian Manhunter. Like I said, man, that Power Cosmic is nothing to mess with, man. Like, I'm very interested to see how the MCU would adapt Silver Surfer, how they will adapt Silver Surfer, because Power Cosmic is insane. You can do anything with it, and I knew it's like I said at the end there. I said a better matchup would have been Surfer versus Dr. Manhattan. That would have been a better matchup. But hey, it's a cool little death battle, man. Death battle always does. They always do great things. So go over there, man. Subscribe to them, man. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya.